Okay, picture this. A place that's almost unbelievably precise. A clean room where the air is perfectly filtered, silent robots just glide around, and technicians are creating the microchips that, well, power our entire world. In a place like that, every single connection matters, but, some are way more critical than others. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on an invisible guardian that prevents total catastrophe on a microscopic scale.
So, what do you think? What is it? A critical data cable? Maybe the main power line? The answer, well, it's probably not what you're thinking. It's actually the connection that handles the very lifeblood of the whole operation, the ultra-pure and, a lot of the time, the ultra-dangerous chemicals. Let's dive into why this one connection is just so important.
So before we can get to the solution, we really need to understand the problem. And this problem, it exists in one of the most demanding, high-stakes manufacturing environments anywhere on Earth. I mean, we're talking about some seriously intense stuff here, like hydrofluoric acid and sulfuric acid. These chemicals have to be absolutely pristine. We're talking down to parts per billion, because just one single foreign particle can ruin an entire batch of microchips. But at the same time, they are incredibly corrosive and super hazardous to people. This is the razor's edge these places operate on every single day. A single chemical spill, that could injure workers and shut down production for who knows how long. A single contamination event, even when you can't see, that could literally mean millions of dollars in product just scrapped. In this world, there is absolutely zero room for error.
So, how do you manage that kind of incredible risk? The answer is you have to engineer the possibility of human error completely out of the equation. And that, right there, brings us to the hero of our story today. It's called the ACQC, which stands for Automatic Clean Quick Coupler. But look, it's not just some fancy hose connector. It's a highly engineered safety and purity system that was designed specifically for this insane, high-stakes environment.
So it basically tackles every single risk we just talked about. It's built from the ground up to prevent mistakes before they can even happen, to create a perfect seal every single time, to maintain that critical purity, and to do it all quickly and automatically. So let's break down how it actually works, starting with its first and, its most important job, keeping people safe.
The solution here is it's elegantly simple. Imagine a loading area with ports for 10 different chemicals, all right next to each other. The risk of an operator accidentally connecting the sulfuric acid hose to, say, the ammonia port is very, very real. The ACQC solves this with a physical key system. A hose for acid literally has a different physical shape and cannot connect to the port for a base. It's like having a unique key for every single chemical. You just can't get it wrong.
And listen, this isn't just a theoretical safety feature. This quote shows that as far back as 1998, this exact system was already preventing real-world accidents. It's a simple, proven lifesaver.
Okay, so the other huge safety risk is leaks. The ACQC tackles this in two ways. First, there's a spring-loaded valve that automatically seals the connection shut the exact moment it's disconnected. No drips, no spills, done. Second, it gets rid of threaded connections, the kind you have to screw on, which are a notoriously common weak point for leaks over time. It's just a simple, robust design for a very dangerous job.
Okay, so we've protected the people. But what about the multi-million-dollar product? Let's take a look at how the ACQC is designed for absolute total purity.
This part is just brilliant. Every single time a connection is made or broken, there's a risk of contamination. So the AQCQ has a built-in automated mini car wash. Right after disconnecting, deionized water is shot into a tiny sealed chamber, and it's not just sprayed in, it's injected tangentially to create this powerful vortex like a little cyclone that just scrubs the surfaces clean. Then, high-pressure nitrogen gas blasts it completely dry. All of that happens in just a few moments. And this obsession with purity, it extends to every single detail. The materials that actually touch the chemical, like Teflon and Calrez, are chosen because they're incredibly non-reactive. The design itself has very few moving parts to minimize any friction that could generate particles. And even the little protective cap that's used for transport is specially designed to keep the connector perfectly clean. So look, this is a very specialized piece of equipment for a very specific industry. Why does it matter to you? Well, the impact of this invisible guardian is probably in your pocket or sitting on your desk right now.
Since 1995, over 2,000 of these ACQC sets have been supplied to facilities all around the globe. This isn't some niche prototype, it's a foundational piece of modern high-tech manufacturing.
For almost 3 decades, this technology has been quietly evolving in the background, enabling the relentless advance of the tech industry. From its very first introduction to the development of new versions for different chemicals, it has become a true unsung hero.
And who relies on this technology? Well, just a few names you might recognize. We're talking about the biggest chip makers in the entire world: Samsung, Intel, TSMC, and even companies like Tesla. They all depend on the safety and the purity that the ACQC guarantees.
So when you put it all together, the takeaway is crystal clear. Without this humble, invisible connection working flawlessly day in and day out, the global supply chain for the technology we use every day would grind to a halt. It's the direct, unseen link between a giant tank of hazardous chemicals and the phone right there in your hand.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other hidden pieces of brilliant engineering are all around us, silently making our modern world possible?